To become a better leader of tomorrow in just a short amount of time, subscribe to our Raj Shamani Clips channel. Tell me, like, were you always like this big dreamer and dream with your feet on the ground, or like you started as...
I think I started with feet on the ground. Then I started dreaming. I don't think I started with dreaming.
So you were not born into riches. You were not... What's your background? Like, give me...
A complete lower middle class background in a place in Mumbai called Grant Road. Okay. I do remember we had a large joint family. There was no private bedroom. The toilet was at the end of the door. And I spent my first 17 years. Incredible grounding in those days. There was a lovely cafe 786 on the ground floor, which served the best biryani in Grant Road and the best jalebis.
Okay.
My two aunts and my mum used to teach the piano. Wow. So I think all my first few girlfriends were all students, piano students that would come there.
Did you learn to impress them or no?
Yes, I learned how to play the piano in the process, but that is compliments to my mom and my aunts, not the girlfriends, but very, very fond memories. And that's why I meant that you get grounded. Then your expectation on life is everything is up there. And I think many of the times when I've been set back, my introspection was, now how worse can it get? At worst, look at the first 17 years of my life. I was very happy then. So even if I get back to even that level, how bad can it get? It allows you and empowers you to take lots of risks and lower your expectations in life.
Interesting. Okay, tell me one interesting lesson that you learned while you were going through that phase, or like from, I don't want to call that adversity, but like in the initial years of your life, like something that you learned and that still stays with you.
I'm coining it now. I don't think I was not mature enough to do then, where I learned a couple of things. One is you're on your own. I mean, you're on your own in many ways. I mean, not from a family ecosystem is always there, but you're on your own. And the second one is, when you choose to do something, you have to go about it with, you don't have a choice, right? Because I think when I told my parents that I want to do something on my own, that was a big shock for them, like it is for most 99% of the parents that want to look at that. But they were like good Parsi parents, quietly, worrisomely supportive.
Okay.
And I think one of the things that my parents said is, look, even if you finally want to do this, I just want to tell you, you're on your own, because we don't have the money for your first mistake. Forget about your second mistake and your third mistake. And I think that rung a bell with me that says, you're on your own, and therefore you don't have a choice. And when you have these two non-parachutes with you in life, it kind of holds you very tightly and makes, again, your feet on the ground always.
Hey, that's a very interesting take, because you are on your own and mostly what you do.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you a contradictory thing. Like I also grew up in like a middle class family and didn't have enough money for the mistakes and stuff. But my parents, on the contradictory, maybe because now the generation has changed and like so much awareness is there, they have always been that, okay, we know that we don't have enough resources, but even if you fail, don't worry, saath mein kar lenge.
Correct.
Like they were...
So Saath Mein, I think, is all parents. Like, I mean, all parents will be Saath Mein. I think what they were telling me in a very materialistic sense is, while our spirit will be willing, our wallet will definitely not be.
They always say, I'm asking this question because people say this, right? That the money changes you, success changes you. The more you achieve, you kind of become like a different person. So that's why like the belief system and the things that you value, do that change or not?
I've seen that happen with people. And I'm not sitting here from the pulpit and trying to lecture. I hope when I have my own report card that it doesn't reflect for me that money has changed anything for me. But I can see that it is quite intoxicating, right? Because it's a thumbs up for you. What is it? When you see that, what do? Money attracts people thumping your back. It attracts more friends than you want. It attracts a fan club, which can be disappear the next day. It makes every glory look non-fleeting, whereas it should be fleeting. So it can go to people's head, and it just sounds like you're invulnerable. And actually, you are vulnerable at every given stage. And the world is fragile. It is fragile today in many, many ways, right? I mean,
what do you mean by the fragile world?
I mean, it not just changes. It is a fragile world. Today, I think the biggest challenge for any person, young or old, aren't wanting to do something in their own or in a job, in a career or not, in a profession as a lawyer or a doctor or whatever else, has to deal with fragility, because there's so many things that are actually changing in around you. And 50% of them are not in your control, right? I mean, I'm not talking about the macro things about war in Ukraine and 2 banks collapsing or the economy. Those are all, I think we have to live that that's going to be a way of life. But fragility today, I think, what troubles me, frankly, is the fact that almost 10%, 15% of the people today have more of a mental crisis. I mean, we're now vocally talking about the context of mental health, right, versus health. Most people would have scorned at that.
Yeah.
Firstly, I want to treat somebody who's genuinely sick. You think I'm going to wait for you because your mind is not working? How dare your mind is not working? Go fix it. But today, that's real.
Yeah.
So which means there's so much of fragility in the world that's creating so much conflict in your mind. And there's so much information that comes your way. And I think my brother-in-law told me one fine day last week, he says, I'm going to put that watch on you because it's going to give you a lot of data. You can do that when you exercise. I said, look, I'm dealing with too many data points. I don't want more data right now in my life. And I don't mean data in that sense, just any more information to process. Because frankly, you need to chill, you need to relax, you need to get the thoughts that flow into your mind. So to me, fragility is things outside your control will change, things within you will control and change. They will change more sharply than ever before. If something was bad news, you'll have time to process it, maybe even avert it, go back and do it. I think that's becoming less and less. Before you can digest it, it could be fatal.
I am asking this to you because I recently read about couple of Silicon Valley founders who have all made it multi-million dollars in last 4 to 5 years, like from 0 to 4-5 years. And then there was a study done on them, there was 80 of them. They found out majority of them are data control freaks.
Sure.
And they track their life, their time, their body, not only their organization and the productivity, they track themselves.
Yeah.
In fact, so I was having a conversation with someone about this and they said they track the steps they do, the food they eat,
sure,
the calories they intake, every little thing about everything. They just track everything. Do you think that kind of tracking becomes...
No. And I can tell you
is it good or bad?
No, there's no judgment call. It's each one to their own. So
what would you say?
I would not say. No, I think that's relevant, but for each time. So I will answer that question by saying if there are 80 of them, A, B, in Silicon Valley, C, done multi-million, and if they've done it between 2019 and 2022, that's a different era. Will they be able to do it if it started in 2022 to 2025? Probably not. And that's the difference between saying I'm a data freak and therefore, because there were things that had not been in control. Whatever velocity they thought that got them there, 50% is serendipity and tailwind of some sorts that gets you to a certain level, number one. 2, the opportunities in each place are also very, very different, right? And you can do that for a momentary time in 4 or 5 years. The question would be, can we track these same 80 people over the next 7 years and figure out how many of them kept their wealth? If wealth is the benchmark, because the other unfortunate part is your benchmark of all of this is wealth.
Yeah.
Why? Where's the happiness quotient? Where's the joy quotient? Where's the balance quotient? Where's the so many other quotients? And I'm not talking about nirvana. I'm not talking about Buddhism. I'm not talking about vipassana. I'm not talking about meditation. Because at some stage when you have this kind of acuteness, you're going to need balance at some stage. Because do you really want to test the pulse on your body and the calories that you burn every single day of your life? Because at some stage the penny is going to drop. Did that make me happy that I was so... willpower is a very difficult thing for a lot of people, and it's great the people who have willpower. And I think at leadership, you need that kind of willpower, right? Because you need that willpower to get up at 4:30 in the morning, still continue a regimen routine. 99% of the people who say, I travel 10 days of the month, I can't keep myself fit. But the people who have a willpower will find themselves. So that's a very strong anchor. But I would say to this, there are 2-3 things here. One is validate that after 5 years and see how many people continue to do that. Second, wealth is not the only benchmark. And third is if you're so obsessed, I think you need to take a reality check. Can you be obsessed for 20 years at a go? I don't think so.
So you feel like that's periodic? No, that makes sense because it's periodically relevant for some people at some stage.
As much as a sprint versus a marathon. Yeah. As much as 100 meters versus 500 meters and whatever else.
Yeah. And we overestimate when we achieve something. We tend to look back and try to connect dots and overestimate. We give more importance to certain things because we are going through that phase.
Well, not only do we give more importance, I think we give more credit to ourselves than we do.
That's true. 99%. So I just said it yesterday. There's just a belief. There's no math behind it and there's no science. I just believe that 99% of his serendipity, like luck, 1% is your manufactured luck. Right.
Yeah.
And by manufactured luck, what I mean is like just doing work.
I'm a strong believer in serendipity. I wouldn't put 99% or 90%. I put it at 50%.
Okay.
Because if it's 99% or 90% also, then you might as well sit down and chill and let the breeze blow. But it may blow you in different directions.
Yeah.
But if you really want to catch serendipity, then you need to be out there in multiple places so that when the wind catches you, you know when to ride on the sail and when to walk in the trenches.
Fair. I know that's what I was saying. There's no math to it. I just believe that it's a combination of manufactured luck
but
and
it needs to have
serendipity.
a slightly more balance than saying, I'm around, now come hit me from the back.
Thank you so much for watching this clip till the end. For more such amazing, insightful clips, please subscribe to our channel.